Rudy Gobert gets traded from the Jazz to the Timberwolves in a crazy, crazy deal. Malik Beasley, Patrick Beverly, Walker Kessler, Jared Vanderbilt, and multiple first round picks in the trade that the Jazz do to get offload Rudy Gobert. For the Jazz, they're saying that they're going to keep Mitchell and they're going to try to revamp the team around him. I don't know how well that's going to work. Mitchell, he probably wants to win right now. He doesn't want to be part of a rebuild or a retool or whatever they want to call it, revamp. Any of those words with re on it. I don't think Donovan Mitchell wants to be a part of that. He's like in the middle of his prime right now. He should be competing. He should be part of a team that has real championship aspirations, not part of a retool, rebuild, revamp, any of those words that start with the re. So I don't know. I don't think it ends here with the Jazz. I think Donovan Mitchell needs to add pressure to them and ask for a trade or ask to get moved, ask them to flip some of these pieces to get another established star, because it just looked like him and Rudy Gobert were never going to be enough. But that's pretty much it with the Jazz. We got to see what they do, if they flip any of these players and assets into another star, or if they ultimately, really just call it a full reset and get rid of Donovan Mitchell. So we got to keep an eye on that, because Donovan Mitchell moving to another team would move the needle. Like if he goes to the Heat or he goes to a team that is right there, it does move the needle. But now let's talk about Rudy Gobert going to the Timberwolves. Like, how does that impact the Timberwolves? Because the initial thoughts is that the Timberwolves are going to be a top 4 team in the West. I've even seen people talk about them being right beneath the Warriors, being the second favorite team on the West. And honestly, I'm not as excited as a lot of people are. Like, yeah, this is a good move. You're adding a 3-time defensive player of the year. You're gonna have D'Lo, Ant, Cat, Rudy Gobert, and I believe McDaniels as a small forward, which is good. It's a good lineup. Everyone's like 6'5" and above. Very tall lineup. You have Cat, who's a star. He's not going to have to, bump and grind down low anymore. You could have Rudy Gobert really anchor that defense. You could let Cat just do his thing on offense, pull up from 3. It'll be easier for Cat to space out the floor. But honestly, the only thing I could think of with this trade is I was watching JJ Redick's podcast. I think when Kevin Durant was on it, and they talked about how the stretch forward kind of disappeared. Like the stretch forward became a 5, and then you play with 2 small forwards or wings, and then you play with your guards, and the stretch 4 is kind of disappeared. Like you don't have a big man playing the stretch 4. You have one big man with shooters, whether it be 2 wings and 2 guards, 3 wings and a guard. Whatever it is, the stretch 4 kind of disappeared. So now this move for the Wolves, are you going to have Rudy Gobert and Cat closing out the games? Like obviously, right? You gave up this much for Rudy Gobert. He's going to be on your closing lineup. Cat is your franchise centerpiece. He's going to be playing essentially the stretch 4. And I think Cat, his best position in today's NBA is to play the 5. You don't want Rudy Gobert, clogging up the middle for Ant to attack the rim, D'Lo to attack the rim. Although he's not as athletic, he could finish pretty good at the rim. I am excited to see D'Lo and Rudy Gobert do that pick and roll. D'Lo did have a good connection with Allen back when they were in Brooklyn, and Rudy Gobert is in that similar mold, tall player. Rudy Gobert is probably a better version of Jared Allen, but now D'Lo plays with Rudy Gobert, so we'll see how good they are. But I think it's a good move. It makes them a little bit better. Rudy Gobert, especially in the regular season, is going to help them get dubs. He's going to help them get victories. He's going to be up there again for being a defensive player of the year candidate. But I don't think this makes the Wolves a top 4, top 3, top 2 team in the West. I think if anything, it just kind of solidifies them as a playoff team. Top six team in the West. I think Rudy Gobert will have more an impact on the regular season than in the playoffs. But the one thing we got to consider is that maybe it saves Cat. Maybe it keeps him fresh the rest of the season. And you have to you can't put a number or context into just momentum. So if they're able to get into the playoffs with a lot of momentum, have a really good regular season, feel good about yourself, have confidence, then once you're in the dance, you're in the dance, and anything can happen. As we saw this year, injuries killed a lot of teams, and all the healthy teams, the teams that were able to maneuver through their injuries, were able to make a deep run. Like we saw the Bucks, lose their chance to defend their championship because they didn't have Middleton. So all I'm saying is, although I don't think Rudy Gobert, if everyone's healthy, really pushes the Wolves into that upper echelon of contenders, I think what he does do is he's gonna make them get rack of victories in the regular season. That's where his defense really shines, in the regular season, and then ultimately, Cat is gonna be fresher going into the playoffs because Rudy Gobert is gonna be taking the pounding in the middle. He's gonna be anchoring that defense instead of putting Cat as the 5, making him really defend the rim and be that anchor to the defense. It's gonna be Rudy Gobert now, and that could them getting to the playoffs, Cat being healthy, hopefully going into the playoffs. And then once you're in, anything can happen. But ultimately, if you have every team in the West put out their best lineup, be healthy, I don't think Rudy Gobert makes them legit championship contenders. But like I said, once you're in the playoffs, if you're healthy, you have a chance. This team definitely has a chance. I think the development of Ant has to be put into this equation. Ant was an amazing rookie year. We got to see how he does his second year. D'Lo, he if he can go back, maybe go back to his Brooklyn days where he was really like amazing. They're not bad. They're not bad. I don't think. Hopefully, I'm not sounding like a hater. I know Wolves fans, this is the most they've been excited for a season, and God knows how long. But like I said, I want to put a little pause on all these people that are saying that, because they're not too many, but I have seen people say that they should be right behind the Warriors, ahead of the Suns, as championship contenders out of the West. Let's put a little pause in that.